Hey guys, Sonic Smash Bros. Here, and another Rush Duel King of Games is done for this month once again, with a brand new deck this time around. Well, not like brand new, because Engine Vast Vulcan has been in the game for a while, but new in terms of me piloting this thing, because, well, I never built this originally. I just ended up finishing it by accident when going for everything I needed for Constructor Fusion, so that happened. So, because I found this kind of fun when actually, messing around with this, casually, I wanted to see if it could actually reach King of Games even today. Now here's the thing. I tried the pure warrior build that most people were using at the time, and I personally had issues with it, so I wanted to do something to make my own style of Vast Vulcan. And this is the result. 7's Vast Vulcan. Now let's start things off by taking a look at the skill of choice, Maximum Hyper Engine. This skill can be used if the only monsters in your deck are Spellcaster or Warrior type monsters with 2100 or less attack points, and the deck contains 8 or more maximum monsters. Once per turn, choose up to 2 face-up maximum monsters with 1500 or less attack points on your field. Those chosen monsters gain 1200 attack points until the end of your opponent's next turn. Then you can place one random maximum monster from your deck with a different level than the chosen monsters on the top of your deck. That's a little bit of a consistency issue, because you can't choose which one you put on top of the deck, but we have ways to work around it if we know what we're doing. Now for the main event to start things off, Hyper Engine Vast Vulcan, and interestingly, this is the piece that Yuga got from Asana in the 7's anime. So does this technically count as a second Asana Prismatic? Anyway, as usual, you can maximum summon this card together with the left and right pieces, and in maximum mode, this can't be destroyed by trap effects. Very standard of maximums, but as you know, there's way more to this than meets the eye. Though, having 3300 maximum attack kinda blows sometimes, you'll see why later. Now, my alternative win condition of choice is the classic 7's Road Magician. Send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. This card gains attack equal to the number of different attributes in your graveyard times 300 until the end of this turn. You know the drill by now. Only 2 because you don't always want to rely on this thing. You don't always end up needing to rely on it, but when it comes up quite nicely. Supporting this, we have the Magician's Valkyria. Your opponent cannot attack face-up spellcaster type monsters other than this card. Really, this is mainly here to keep our 7's Road Magicians safe, and that's about it. But also, 1600 attack on a normal summon is still really good, 1800 defense is really difficult to run over, and it's our only late attribute of the deck, because Void Velg is still semi-common. Not as common as it used to be, but it's still pretty common. Double All-Seeing Harvey. During your main phase that you normally special summon this card, look at one face-down card on your opponent's field. If that card is a monster card with 1500 or more defense, you can also destroy it. So, this is ridiculous. This scouts out back row, this scouts out stall monsters like Dragocite, this scouts out big boss monsters, and it combos with a card in a really stupid way that I'll talk about in a little bit. But for now, Piercing Samurai, 2 of this as well. If you have 3 face-up monsters on your field, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. Choose 1 face-up warrior type monster on your field. If it attacks a defense position monster this turn, inflict piercing battle damage. Note, this means if the attack of the attacking monster exceeds the defense of the attack target, inflict the difference as damage. Double Siesta Torero. Shuffle 3 monsters from your graveyard into the deck. Change 1 attack position level 8 or lower monster on your opponent's field to face down defense position. Then you can add 1 Siesta hold in your graveyard to your hand. That is literally pointless. This is just here to flip things face down. But note that it flips things face down. So say you flip an Ancient Gear Golem, a Dragius, Void Velg Requiem, whatever big boss monster aside from Prima Guitarna face down. Do you see where this is going? So, next up, we have the left piece of Hyper Engine Vast Vulcan. In maximum mode, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. Choose 1 face-up monster on your opponent's field, and it loses 800 attack points until the end of this turn. You can also destroy 1 field spell card in your opponent's field, and if you destroy the field spell card by this effect, inflict 800 damage to your opponent. That field spell nuke effect only comes up against Constructor Fusion, but it's nice when it does. And the right piece of Hyper Engine Vast Vulcan. In maximum mode, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, and choose 1 face-up monster on the field. This time, it loses attack points equal to its level times 100 until the end of this turn, and you also inflict the same amount as damage to your opponent. That's kind of funny, especially considering the ways we can make use of this to really bring on the damage. Speaking of burn damage, we also have triple Karatake, the Talismanic Warrior. If you have a face-up warrior type monster other than this card in your field, including multiple Karatakes by the way, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the number of spell and trap cards on their field times 200. So this punishes them for playing too much back row. And lastly for monsters, Double Arrow Sorcerer. There is another Wind Talismanic Warrior you can play. For one, I don't have it, and for two, I feel like we needed 1500 attack beat sticks anyway, and this is just a good enough amount, at least for me. I was originally playing one, and playing the Rice Terrace Crisis. Yeah, I ended up cutting Rice Terrace Crisis out completely. I don't think it's a good idea to run it right now, and I'll get into why in a moment. So I tried Avian Spell Tactics. I still wasn't seeing monsters as often as I would like. There's a reason I wasn't playing Avian Spell Tactics to begin with, and it's because of the spellcasters in here. So, an extra normal summon pretty much proved to be exactly what I needed. That's it for monsters. On the spells and traps, we have the classic Pot of Greed. We don't know what it does, but in reality, we do know what it does. Draw 2 cards. One of the most broken cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a reason it was banned really quickly. And I'd argue it's still broken even here. Freaking Luke. Hey, Luke. I have some choice words about Luke, and we'll get to that later. We have the Talismanic Sail Array as well. Shuffle 4 monsters from your graveyard into the deck. One face-up monster in your opponent's field loses attack points equal to its level times 200 until the end of this turn. Combining with Vast Vulcan's attack debuffing, it is pretty nice. It's also recovery, which is just good. And for our back row removal of choice, triple Vulcan Ignite Hyperdrive. Well, technically back row removal, I'll get to that in a moment. If you have a face-up fire type attribute, warrior type, maximum monster on your field. Inflict 800 damage to your opponent. Then, if you have a monster in maximum mode on your field, you can also destroy 1 card in your opponent's field. Any card. Back row, monsters, you name it. It's not consistent at back row removing, like, you know, Avian Spell Tactics, Magical Stream, Ghost Cyclone, Hammer Crush, the likes, but it does its job, and it does its job nicely. As for traps, we do have Negate Attack as usual. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, negate the attack, and effectively end the battle phase, because this turn your opponent can no longer declare any further attacks. And the Buffered Slime. When an opponent's level 8 or lower monster declares an attack, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. This turn you take no further battle damage. Then if your life points are 3,000 or higher, you also take 2,000 damage. So, as for why I don't think Rice Terrace Crisis is a good idea right now, Luke is everywhere. Dragius Star is everywhere. Miragius Star is a new card that they got that made them absolutely broken and honestly toxic now. Because as usual, Konami can't stop having Luke favoritism. So, that and Cyber Dragon are the only 2 decks I regularly see. On occasion, I'll see something different like a Void Valve or an Omega Psychic. Maybe that one guy playing Galactica. But other than that, it's basically just, like, Luke and Cyber Dragon. And those decks mostly don't care about Rice Terrace Crisis at all. Instead, a personal recommendation of mine, if you want to have a 3rd trap, is Forever Freeze. When your opponent normal summons a monster with 2,500 or more attack points, send 1 monster from your field to the graveyard and place that normal summon monster on the bottom of the owner's deck. Screw your Dragius, screw your Ancient Gear Golem in particular, I don't care. And also, yeah, maybe you'll see a Materian once in a while. You'll see, like, a Materian Sidra or something like that. But usually it's just Luke and Cyber Dragon. That's pretty much it. So, on to replays. And I have not started Speed Duel King of Games yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But before we actually get to the claim proper, I do have a couple of bonus replays. So, yeah. I have some choice words for Luke. Why is Dragius Star Nova allowed to steal Red Boot Boost Dragon from Yuamu?
Rush dueling against Luke is always a blast. Here we get ready for the rush. I drop volcanoes. glaciers. Not even meteors can block my way. I'll blaze my road to greatness. Rise!
Yeah,
For Engine Vast Vulcan!
that happened, and this is something you can do if you have this happen on the first turn.
Activates its effect. This duel's only getting
You can
started.
lower Vast Vulcan's own attack points
I'm gonna end
to do
this
1,000 burn damage.
I drop right on my... I got plenty of tricks saved for later. From my hand, end my turn.
Funny Pot of Greed, Vulcan Ignite Hyperdrive is a go.
Vulcan Ignite, Fast Vulcan, I activate my trap. Dragon's Fortitude. I gotta be careful, because you should have finished turn the table. I drop. I end my turn. I end my turn. Really heating up. Fast Vulcan activates its effect. Time to Fast Vulcan. Burn the I'll
And we know how this goes. Unfortunately, he got Dragius a little bit too soon for my liking.
Twin suns crash into us. Break it. Here's Hyper Strike the king.
Grabs back Fusion, and since he couldn't really take me out, he's about to lose right here.
Here I come. I end my turn. Okay.
Karatake, end this please.
Monster's effect. Wow. Keep doing.
Thank you very much. And lastly, for bonus replays before the climb proper. So, this was kind of ridiculous.
This is one duel.
If you swide,
Here we go.
Go
Get ready for
Rush.
the rush.
it's my I draw. I'll
So this poor sap kind of bricked,
7 months. That ends
Here
my
I go.
and was going first with only one normal summon in
Come on
hand.
out. I summon a monster. Here I come. I activate my monster's effect. Okay.
This
I
changes
summon.
now.
I'm good to go.
So Karatake does its thing.
I activate my monster's effect. Gotta take a. Okay. Now. My
We set up.
I attack you. I'm on the road to glory.
And OTK, without even needing Karatake's effect.
It seems
As long as I get it.
So, that happened. Poor guy. I actually kind of feel bad. So, now for the climb proper. Most of the time, this would take like 1 to 8 attempts or so, give or take. You want to know how many this took? 35. And I don't even think it's Vast Vulcan's fault. It's still pretty decent. You're gonna see what I mean.
You look
By
like
the
you're
way, don't
ready
be
for the
fooled, this
rush.
is Cyber
Every
Dragon.
time we do
I
it,
really
we're
wanted to
loading
get a
the
7th
road to
Paladin
freedom.
replay
Here
in
we
this,
go.
because for
Here
some
we go.
reason,
Get
I have
ready
been
for the
cursed
rush.
to
I'm gonna
forever
speed
lose
up
the
this
Vulcan
duel.
v7's Paladin
my
matchup.
turn.
I have never once won that. Even when I should have won, I somehow find a way to get cheesed last minute.
I end my turn. Here I go. I draw. I'm
It
good to go.
always happens, I swear.
Summon a monster. Here I come. I'm good to go. I activate my monsters. There's always a. I activate my spell. Come on out. I'm gonna fusion summon a monster. I'm gonna. Okay. Now. I attack now.
And we really don't care, because we're not taking damage anyway.
Here I end. It's my. I'm good to go. Ice. Here I come. Ice. I activate my monster. Anything. You're not gonna win that easily.
So here's the deal. If that gave us the level 3,
Now.
all we really had to do
Monster.
was set the current level 3 face down.
I set this card earlier for this moment. I activate my.
So you got Seal Array, Pot of Greed, I want to say, Fusion, Cyber Assault, and I think Proto Cyber or something like that.
I draw from my hand. I'm good to go. Ice, come on out. From my hand. I activate my spell card. Okay. I activate my spell card. I'm good to go.
So this guy was ready to just casually OTK, because this is a very OTK heavy format.
I set a card. Okay, let's battle. Go! I attack with my monster.
Let's not say we did.
I set this card with that. I'm gonna speed up this. I draw. I activate my monster's effect. A wall. Nothing will stop my.
Literally, we're just summoning 7-star Magician to unclog the hand.
Glaciers. Rise. Vast Vulcan activates its effect. I activate my spell. I activate my spell card.
So I decide to risk it and push for game, and he did not have negate attack.
Hey, as long as I.
So, one down. Next up, don't be fooled, this is just another Cyber Dragon. So, that was a thing.
Every time. Here we
Go
get ready
rush.
for the rush.
I set him. I'll that
Here
ends
I
my
go.
turn.
I draw. I'm gonna set it. I set a card. Here I come. I'm good to
And so we
go.
just decided to go on the offensive. Now, the skill does solve one issue with summoning maximum pieces like this, and that's their low attack point.
Here I go.
End my turn.
I draw.
This was practically Machine Pile featuring Cyber Dragon stuff, basically.
Watch closely. You will. Here's what I'll do. Here I go. Let's battle. Annihilate. I attack. Be gone.
Now, I really didn't care about,
Here I go.
using my traps there. I didn't care about losing any of the stuff I would have lost otherwise.
Monster. I activate my spell card. Here I come. I activate my monster's effect. I'm gonna set it.
This changes nothing.
This duel's only getting
Here I
started.
go.
I
I
end my
draw
turn.
from my hand. Watch closely.
So I decided to do just a little bit of damage there.
I witness power. I set a card. Let's back. This is too
This
easy.
card'll
How
do.
can this be?
I set this
That
card
ends
Yeah,
Here I
this is
go.
where negate attack comes into play.
draw. I activate my monster's effect. A walk. Nothing will stop. Here I come. Ice. Here I come. Ice.
And here comes that Siesta Torero combo I was talking about.
Monster's effect.
Shuffle those back.
I activate my
All-seeing
monster's
Harvey that we
effect.
just normal summoned. Goodbye.
Time to battle. 7.
I love doing that.
With that, I
It's
end my
my
turn.
turn. I watch closely. I activate my mon. Witness power. Let's battle. Leave my sight. Attack. You will know.
Now here I basically didn't care once again because, well,
I'm surprised you survived.
there was no point in caring.
I set a monster. I'll set a monster. Here I come. I suck anything. I'm gonna set a card. There's nothing
There's
more exciting
nothing
than
more.
making a
I
huge
draw.
comeback.
I'll do whatever.
I end my turn.
Battle. Annihilate.
Once again, I didn't really care too much.
Leave my sight. Thinking you
Even
can
if
win
the
was
odds
your
aren't on my
first
side, I
mistake.
draw.
I end my
Okay.
turn.
I summon up. I'm good to go. Here I come.
I just wanted to get used to the card talking effect.
I'm not going down
Time
that
to
easily.
end this
I end
battle.
my
You're
turn.
finished.
You think I wouldn't be ready for that?
Lost Pawn of Greed, unfortunately, but that wasn't my goal.
Leave my
I
sight.
activate my
I'm
trap.
surprised
I just
you
needed the
survived.
main head of Vast
I
Vulcan.
end my
Even if the
turn.
odds aren't on my side, I draw. I'll set a monster. Volcanoes, glaciers, not even meteors can block my way. I'll blaze my road to greatness. Maximum summon. Rise, Hyper Engine Vast Vulcan. Vast Vulcan activates its effect. Inferno, I activate my spell card. Vulcan Ignite. Hyper Engine Vast Vulcan activates its effect. I set this card earlier for this moment.
And so, once more, I am just good at calling out specific back row,
Time
and
to battle.
We bounced back. Let's go.
Despite this setback, I will keep doing what I must.
Rush duels are gonna change the world of dueling forever!
So, now for the only game here where I wish I could feel bad. No, I said I wish I could feel bad. But considering what this would have been, I don't. Yeah. Draggy a star.
Rush dueling as here. Get ready for the rush! I draw! I'm setting up. I'm ending my turn. I draw! Okay.
He low-key kind of bricked.
I activate my monster's effect. I'm good to go. Here I come. I activate my monster's effect. I'm gonna set a call. Gotta take a risk to get the rewards. Okay, go! I attack.
Took the gamble on that being Triad Drago or Dragosite, and it wasn't, frankly.
This duel's only getting started. I draw. I end my turn. I'm ending my turn. I draw. I activate my monster's effect. Okay.
Karataka is about to do its thing.
Easy. Anything's
And really, this was a just-in-case situation.
time to. I'm on the.
Purely to play around Bucket Slime.
I attack you.
He didn't have the gate attack after all. And I don't think Dragon's Fortitude would have been enough to stop. Wait, actually, no, wait, yeah, it would have been.
Keep dueling.
Because if he had Buffered Slime on top of that, that would have stopped me. Which would have been annoying, but hey, considering he didn't have both, I'll take it. I don't care. I am sick of Luke. Pretty much all of us are sick of Luke. Doesn't help that I think he's from Luke. I'd argue the worst written character in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime's history, and that's kind of Bowman. That's kind of the likes of Bowman, or... Who's another good example? Oh yeah, freaking Gungenzika.
You look like you're ready for the rush.
Warrior
Or...
to warrior.
I would argue Leo
Let us
Akaba,
have
but
an
that's
honorable
just
duel.
me.
Here we go.
He's
Beauteous
also up there in terms of
Get
badly
ready
written
for the
characters, but
rush.
nonetheless.
Go
So,
rush. It's my turn.
Luke,
Valkyrie
Cyber Dragon,
draw.
and there's this just
I'm setting a
one
monster.
weird
I'm setting a
Galactica in the
monster.
middle of nowhere.
I'm setting a monster. I end my
I'm
turn.
gonna speed up this duel. I set.
So I go on the defensive not only because I opened poorly,
It's my
but
turn.
because I had a feeling he had Galactica Oblivion there anyway, and he did.
Galactica Oblivion. I activate my spell card. UT.
So that's annoying, but thankfully he guessed wrong.
I activate my spell card. Meaty Vortex Shooter. Right Sentinel. That Right Sentinel. A Galactica Oblivion. A take away their
You got
life force. That ends my turn.
Here I go. I draw. From my
So
hand.
that's annoying, but
Here
whatever.
I come. I summon a monster. Come on out. I walk. Nothing will. Seven's Road Magician. Here I come. I summon. Come on out. I'm gonna set it. There's always a chance.
And thanks to Maximum Hyper Engine, we can break his board right here.
My monster. My monster. Seven's Road Magician.
And with the score all nice and even,
I end my turn.
I believe it's now
the turn
my
passes
turn.
over.
Valkyrian draw. There is something inside.
And here comes Galactica Order.
From my hand. Fly in. Galactica Oblivion.
I was hoping for a second Prismatic Build Dream or a Prismatic Candy Live. I ended up with a Prismatic Secret Order, which could work for Asana, I guess, if I was doing like the triple Worm Drake Crush strategy.
My spell card. Galactica Force.
So with that, I was kind of debating on whether to actually use
Galactica Oblivion. Please teach
the
me
Buffered Slime.
everything you know about Rush Duels.
He couldn't have taken
As
me
long as I
out
get a
there.
chance, I can load my code to victory.
I'm also pretty sure his graveyard did not have enough monsters for a second Galactica Force, which he had said, I believe. So, either way, I think he realized, yeah, he was out of options. And so, last up, Dragius Star.
rush dueling again. Get ready for the rush! Here I draw! I activate my spell card, the Dragon! Drago-Rite! In this real illusion... Thanks, I got plenty of tricks saved for later. From my hand, my turn. Come on out! I summon... Okay! I activate my monster! I activate my monster! I set a monster! You won't win that easy!
So I opted to go on the defensive here with that Piercing Samurai, because if that was negate attack,
Time this'll do.
and it was, unfortunately,
With that, here goes.
that would have meant that
It's my
Miragius would have been able to dish out a ton of damage.
Drago-Rite! The kick. I activate Miragius' and let's go, Miragius! Concuss Inferno of Eternal
So note that Miragius did not weaken the Vast Vulcan main head. It can only weaken level 7 or lower monsters.
Good to go. I activate
So, remember that Torero and All-Seeing Harvey combo? 3,
Here I come.
2,
I
1.
activate my monster's effect. A walk. Nothing will stop my road to victory. Seven's Road Magician.
Alright, 7th Road Magician, get your summon animation in here.
Okay. I summon a one.
So I'm activating Maximum Hyper Engine first because I don't have a fire attribute monster in the graveyard. If I'm pushing for game anyway, why not guarantee it?
Elemental Road. Okay, let's battle. Go.
In case of Music Princess's Recital or something, because I've seen that being played recently still too,
This'll do.
for some reason. And, in good old Yuga fashion, let's end this in style.
Time to end this. Seven's Road Magician, attack! Seven's Magic Attack!
Let's go. Hyper Engine Vast Vulcan, 7's Vast Vulcan,
Keep dueling, Luke.
in King of
Still
Games.
on your highway to victory.
So, there's a reason this took 35 attempts, and it's because, honestly, Vast Vulcan's a struggle. It is insanely difficult to get into a situation where you're either able to play safely, or you just avoid getting randomly cheesed by an OTK or just a random cheese hit out of nowhere. I'm not going to say that Vast Vulcan's necessarily bad. It's definitely not viable, I would say, currently. But I don't think it is Vast Vulcan's fault. What it has going for it is really good. The Warrior package, having access to all of that, having access to some really stupid combos, having access to multiple ways to do burn damage, to also do as much damage as you can in a short amount of time, debuffing attack points with Vast Vulcan proper, having access to 7's Road Magician if you really feel like you want it, which I ended up needing it, personally. You've got some versatility here. There's some good stuff to be had with Vast Vulcan even now. It's just what's running around right now. I would say gatekeeps out of the format. It's kind of similar to the Dragonic Neos situation with that, Salamangreat, Predaplant, and Lyrilis. Over in Speed format, it's kind of similar. I don't think it's quite as bad about it in that regard, because obviously, you know, Vast Vulcan was able to make it to King of Games, so obviously it's, you know, able to do something. But any deck that isn't like Luke or freaking Cyber Dragon is, I'd argue, really difficult to make work consistently right now. Also, maybe Insects. Like, Insects are really good as a free-to-play deck if you want to like burn mostly no gems at all, and not no gems at all entirely. But to me, the big problem with this build specifically is, as usual with decks with multiple tributes where you can't like cheese one out like you can with Magnum Overlord, sometimes drawing a hand of more than one tribute or worst case scenario, 3 tributes and 2 back row cards. You literally can't do anything at that point. It's just how the cookie crumbles, really. But, as usual, when Vast Vulcan gets to do its thing, it can catch people by surprise. This is fun. This is definitely one of the more fun decks I've tried out, personally. Even if it was built by complete accident. So with that, that's all I really have to say on this one. Until the next video, whatever it might be. Later, guys.